Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be jumping in pretty early this morning, but we're going to be jumping into something pretty cool, which is just talking about habits. What are some habits that you have in your life that maybe aren't necessarily leading you in the right direction or are leading you in the right direction? We're going to take a look at some of those today, and then we are going to discuss some healthy habits and how to break free of maybe some unhealthy habits. So, first off, is I just want to discuss some of my habits, and one of them that has been very productive for me is just setting what time I get up. And that seems pretty mundane for a lot of people because maybe you have a 9 to 5 job and so you have to be up by 7 or 7:30 or whatever time. The thing is that let's say that you do have that 9 to 5 and you can wake up at could you theoretically wake up at 6? Because you wake up at 6 in the morning. If you're going into work at 9, if you had to be there by 9, if you wake up at 6, that gives you a couple hours in the morning to be able to do some self care or be able to do some things that help you progress. So, a big thing is maybe you could read a book at that time, or maybe you could do a course at that time, or maybe you can work out at that time. And that's just some things that would help lead you in the right direction. So, that's an example that I would use. I mean, for me, I wake up at 6 a.m. every day. Doesn't matter what time I go to bed, I wake up at 6 because I want to have that habit put in place. Because for me, if I'm up at 6, that means I have time to read, I have time to work out, I have time to make this video, and that's before everyone else is awake. It gives me some me time. And so I really just want to implore everyone to set that habit of setting a consistent time that you wake up 7 days a week. The thing is with habits is let's say that your habit is to whenever you get something out, you never put it back in the same place. If that is your habit, then you're always going to be losing stuff. I mean, all the time. Because you're consistently not doing that thing. And you might say, oh, well, I'm forgetful. You can say that, but that's actually masking the fact that you've created a habit of taking something and moving it somewhere else every time and not putting it back in the same spot. When all you had to do was grab whatever it is and then just put it back when you're done with it. If you create the habit of putting things back in the same spot, you'll always be able to find stuff. And that is a productive habit, and that's also an unproductive habit of just sitting there finding things and moving it. Let's say car keys or wallet, if you can never find them, or your phone, 9 times out of 10 is because you're doing that. You're taking it and you're not putting it back. So just think about that. Put your stuff back in the same place every single time and you'll always find it. The other thing to think about when you consider habits is what you do every single day on a consistent basis, not just your routine, but things, little minute things that you may not think makes a difference, but over the long term does. So for me, working out over the last 4 or 5 years, that has made a difference. I think it's 4 years now, but that's made a big difference for me. I mean, when I first started, I was always hurting myself on squats and deadlift. Actually, I didn't even do squats. I hated them. But I would consistently hurt myself on deadlifts. I couldn't bench press very much, and I didn't look really good. And for me, I'm still working on that last one. But the thing is that after all this time, now I'm able to teach my cousin how to do these exercises that took me a long time to learn. But it was a habit that I had to form of doing it right. And sometimes you have to figure out what that means. Sometimes you have to go watch videos or like this one, or sometimes you have to go experiment with different things until you get it right. But once you create that habit of just consistently going, the biggest thing is even if you're doing it wrong, like just consistently show up to the gym and then ask people who are doing something that you are trying to do and can't seem to do it right. They're probably going to be willing to help you, and that will help you definitely long term. But just establishing the habit of consistently going. And I'm going to wrap it up with that. I'm trying to keep these videos kind of short. I do appreciate everyone who has watched this. Maybe I'll make a part 2 on habits, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.